Increase your positive feedback across all e-commerce platforms by doing this. We're going to talk about something that doesn't get discussed often enough when we're going on about how to increase our sales, how to scale our businesses, how to increase our profits, which at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? And this is something that actually really matters, and that is our positive feedback. If you do any kind of study, if you pay attention, most consumers will only really leave feedback for the majority of businesses, particularly brick and mortar types, whenever they have a bad experience. Something about human nature that just makes us much more willing to go and complain to everybody. Maybe it's part of that whole misery loves company thing. In the business that we are, whatever one that you might be, actually this applies to all industries. Right now we're going to specifically focus on e-commerce, i.e. Poshmark, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and so on, Etsy, right? And positive feedback will help you increase sales because it builds a reputation. And we're going to talk about all this in a different series where I'm going to go into the processes that make a business successful, right? But for now, we're going to start by talking about how to get more positive feedback, how to basically force, that's a harsh word, your customers to just can't help themselves but leave you positive feedback. And the way that we're going to go about that is one thing that should be at the forefront of your overall operation as you're running a business. Again, this applies to any kind of business, is your buyer experience, your customer experience. See, a lot of times when it comes to platforms such as eBay, we're going to focus on eBay right now. Again, this applies to everything. A lot of times we will think of it as a third party or a middleman that just stands between us and somebody else, right? I give you something, you give me the money back. And there are a lot of people that handle and operate on the platform that way, and that's fine. Everybody has their own style, right? But if you're looking to create a brand for yourself, make a name for yourself, eventually take your business and your profits elsewhere, under your own website or under your own boutique, you name it. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are providing a buyer experience. Okay? We're going to touch on a few things, and this isn't to denigrate different sellers or anything. We're just going to offer you some tips, some knowledge on how to improve what you're already doing, or maybe just refresh your memory on some of the things that you could be doing. And we're just going to preface that by pointing out that everybody starts somewhere, right? So work with what you have. Don't break the bank to try to supermarket yourself out there or what have you. Just go as you learn and as you grow. Your buyer experience actually begins the second that someone lays eyes on your listings. We already know that pictures matter, and everyone does this differently, right? And you've probably already heard that the more pictures, the better. And even to this day, despite this being common knowledge for years now, you will still have sellers that will give you a stock photo and nothing more. And if that works for them, great. But if you want to top them in the searches or the algorithms, which that'll be a separate discussion in itself, how to go about leapfrogging people, you want to be able to provide as much information as possible. Now, you're going to have people that will argue back and forth in some of the stuff I'm going to tell you, because some people believe that it's not worth their time, while others will tell you, hey, this is tried and true. I've done these things myself. And that's the kind of school of thought that I'm coming to you with this, because we place a lot of emphasis in our buyer experience here in my businesses, in my stores. So, as we said, it starts from the moment they lay eyes on your listing, right? The clarity of pictures, as I said, the type of pictures, right? If you're in reselling, for example, you want to be transparent with what you're selling. Okay, one thing that I'm going to stress to you, and this is part of a different one as well, a different topic, is never oversell your product. Never do that, right? It's actually better to underpromise and overdeliver. That's not to say that you're going to speak poorly or badly about your products. You're not going to downplay them, but don't oversell them. I could tell you how many times my feedback talks about how it's even better than in the listing. It's even better than I expected, because my listings will say, hey, this is good. And I'll label something good. Let's say, for example, video games, right? I'll have a game disc, and it's free of any scratches, right? Most sellers would say like new. When you say like new, if you've ever read the descriptions across the different e-commerce platforms, is you're setting a bar pretty high. You're setting an expectation for your buyer, right? So you better be able to meet that expectation. I be selective about what you sell, right? Make sure that it works, that it's in good condition. That's a whole other conversation too. We're gonna have a lot of conversation. But if you're transparent, right, you will never set yourself up for failure, but instead you'll always be setting yourself up for success. We've all seen it, right? Everybody here that's doing e-commerce and eBay has been to 100 garage sales. What do they all say? Huge, enormous, multifamily, right? Every single last one of them says huge, right? You go to an estate sale, beautiful, eccentric. They always upsell it, and that's fine. You know, they can do that. That's, if that works for them, that's fine. But you want to make sure that you're establishing your brand. You're setting a name for yourself, a reputation, right? So by being transparent, it's going to shoot you ahead of your competition. Believe you me, it pays off. I've driven a good amount of business from eBay, Poshmark, Marketplace to outside of that. And at the end of the day, as I said before, we're all in this too, right? That's what we want, so that we can move on to bigger and better things, or buy and sell bigger and better things. So transparency was one. You know, that goes from your pictures, as we said. What I was trying to touch on was actually that if you have defects in your item, show them. Show them. You don't have to make a big ordeal out of it. If you think it's something that, if you were to purchase this item, you know, if you were really, really looking forward to having this one doll from your childhood, but it's missing a thumb, then you definitely want to show that, because if you were to receive that and your heart and your expectations were set on that, or this was a gift for someone, you'd be pretty disappointed, if not upset and angry, and you'd be like, I want my money back, etc., right? We'll talk about how to avoid, or how to do your best to avoid negative feedback in a different video as well. So that transparency is going to go a long way. As you go into your item descriptions, you want to be detailed. What year did this come out? What model is it? What brand? Does it have any significant stains? Is it pet-free, odor-free, smoke-free? Any kind of alterations? Describe this as best as you can. A big thing there is, do not use AI. Some people swear by it, but we just talked about how you don't want to oversell, and the AI will absolutely, from when we've done our test runs on it, it always oversells things, and it starts talking about increase your audio experience with Dolby 5.1. Like, dude, get out of here. Somebody that's looking for that specific item probably already knows what it does, what he wants it for, etc., etc. So they don't need to be sold on it. Your transparency and honesty as a seller is the one that will make you or break you, right? Let's just establish that. Make it second nature to you. Make it just part of your operations. No matter what happens, you already know that without fail, that's going to be there. Now, what's going to elevate your customer experience, your buyer experience, is how you get this to them, okay? What we like to do is we always add a thank you note. We add our business card. That way we can drive business, further business into the platform, as well as possibly get a loyal customer outside of the platform. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can do this with a note. Again, everybody starts somewhere. So if you don't have the funds to go pay XYZ print shop or Vistaprint or whoever, you can just do a note. Hey, I started an Instagram. Follow me there. Hey, follow me on Etsy. What you name it. Follow me on my Facebook page, right? Make sure that whatever your stores are, whatever your business is, that should go without saying that you should have social media profiles, right? That's something that we all know by this point. So we add thank you notes. We add our card. In my specialty, what we deal with a lot of collectibles, toys, electronics, video games, and comic books. all the fun. We throw them stickers of whatever they're buying. Say somebody's buying a Dragon Ball anime DVD box set from us. We give them Dragon Ball stickers on there. You can go on that online platform that some people hate or love and buy stickers for real cheap. Or you can have them custom made, right? I used to go on Amazon and buy like packs of 50 for like $7 or something like that. And guess what? It would reflect on my feedback. Nowadays, we have the ability to print our own stickers, but that's something that comes down the road. You start investing in different types of equipment. But the way that I started this was by simply writing a thank you. And like I'm gonna show you one of these days on the feedback where it says it came with a thank you note, and that adds a personal touch that you don't get when you buy from Amazon, Target, all the big box stores, and most of the sellers out there. Okay, so we add that thank you note. Items are all wrapped in a nice clear cellophane bag to give it a professional look. Again, your brand, your name. What kind of appearance do you want to give to people? For the love of God, don't be that seller that just takes something from the thrift store, throws it in a box, more or less bubble wraps it, and then sends it off. It's not clean, it's not wiped, it's not checked, it's not confirmed. Do not be that seller, okay? I call them wannabe hustlers. Don't be that wannabe hustler. And if you've been out hunting and sourcing, you probably know who I'm talking about. The kinds of people that you see them running around, pushing people around. We don't need to do that, right? We can be a lot classier than that when we're outsourcing. So that presentation is going to matter a lot, okay? Transparency, presentation, experience. As I said, we put stuff in these clear cellophane bags. You can get them from Amazon and different prices. You can get them from Uline. You can get them from all kinds of places. You likely have somewhere nearby where you live that actually prints them out. We do here. We haven't been able to work out the pricing, so I just go from Amazon. Boom, every now and then. Get them in different sizes depending on what you sell. Some people only sell clothes. We'll get them in those sizes. Some people only sell video games. Well, you know what sizes to get, etc., etc. Do the stickers. When I first started doing this, one of the things that I would also do is on your package, right, your bubble mailer, your box, whatever you're using, put a smiley face. It's easy, right? And some of the stuff you might be thinking like, oh my God, I thought you were going to give me some type of code and some secret sauce, what have you. This stuff works, okay? I've been doing this for several years and always getting nothing but positive feedback on the buyer experience as far as the presentation that we give and the customer service. These are tried and true methods, as I mentioned earlier. So, presentation. Right? I keep repeating myself because, oh man, you'd be surprised on how many people don't do this. Think about how often you purchase something on eBay and it comes in a cereal box. And if you're part of any of the online selling groups, you've probably seen the arguments. People are saying, it doesn't matter, it does matter. You open a box, it's got no padding. And some people are like, well, did it show broken? Well, then it's fine if it didn't. You don't want to roll that dice, right? If you can make your business run better, you should always make your business run better. I cannot stress this enough. This applies to everything. If you own a bakery, right, the atmosphere for your bakery is going to matter. A cafe shop, it matters. Having worked in different industries that provide very, very different services, I can attest to that. So your packaging is going to be the next thing, okay? Make sure that on your end, not only to protect yourself, but as part of what we're talking about, the experience, put care into how you are packaging these items. Make sure that you use the appropriate, correct, dedicated material, right? One size bubble wrap does not fit all. Depending on how big your items are, you might need bigger ones. You might, depending on how heavy an item is, you might need to use hard styrofoam along with soft styrofoam, some type of hard bracing on the outside of the box. Do you need a new box? Can you reuse a box? We all start somewhere, right? But after a certain point, you got to hold yourself to a standard too. So don't be the guy sending stuff out in diaper boxes, right? If you've been doing it for a long time, don't be that person. If you're starting, Work with what you have, okay? We got to stress that there's you don't have to break your bank. There's lots of ways that you can make everything stretch and go as far as you can. You've heard it all. Get boxes for free from this place and that place. Offer to collect their trash, yada, 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 right? But that's another conversation. So your packaging is going to matter, right? Show that you care about how, think about it this way, okay? Picture yourself as this person and you're opening your package, right? Whether you're ripping the pull tab or you're sticking your hands in a box. How is that going to come out? How's it going to look when it comes out? Is it going to be shoved to a side? Is it going to be centered? And it's going to show that I have bracing on all sides, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of get the picture of what we're talking about here. So all of that stuff is going to matter. It's going to tell the person that you care, that you take the fact that they chose to give you their money seriously. And that's a big deal. We can oftentimes take this kind of stuff for granted because, as I mentioned earlier, you just think it's like, oh, well, I put stuff in and it gives money back. Treat it as a business. Treat it as your business because that's really what it is. And the better that you treat it, the better you treat this creature, the more that this creature is going to return to you. We run into situations where someone is unhappy very, very, very rarely, right? And we'll go into how to address those in another conversation. But it's very reassuring. And when you have something that you don't have to worry about, you can focus your energy on other things, i.e., how to grow your business. So the more things that you're doing right, the less mistakes that there's going to be, the less bad situations that you're going to run into, right? Common sense, yet we we see it all the time. So we're not going to talk about people. Okay. All right. So lastly, your follow through. Do you always have to do this? No. Should you do it if you can afford to? Yes. Okay. Again, everybody has a different school of thought when it comes to this. I can almost overhear some people that have a very specific way of doing things saying, oh, I don't have time for all that. More than likely you do. Okay, follow through. One thing that we like to do here, and it's part of our operation processes because it's a QC thing, quality control, right? It helps us maintain it. When you're going to ship something, it takes you but a minute, 40 seconds. Take a picture of the item, show the serial number perhaps, if it's something that can, like an electronic, a DVD player, a 5-disc CD player from the early 90s that's very sought after by audiophiles, whatever, right? Show them, hey, this is on its way. It's what you bought. It's in this same condition that we advertised it as. And, I care enough to give you the time of day to let you know that this is going out. And I put care into it. It's going to be a FedEx. It's going to be a USPS. It's going this, whatever, right? You don't have to promise them when it's going to get there by because you don't control that. And you don't discuss prices or anything like that. But you just say, hey, this is going out, yada, yada, yada. This is going out. And everybody writes us back. So thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh, wow, that was fast. Thank you, right? And that's just, all these little things are going to add to the experience. And different people have different methods. Some people say, I only ship on this day and this day and this day and this day. You should know by now that if you ship every day, you're going to be one step ahead of everybody. And here we try to do that with the exception of very large items. We try to get everything out of the door at least within 24 hours. If somebody happens to buy something that's easy to ship the morning before we do our mail runs, then we'll throw it in there and they'll be like, holy cow, like you guys are fast. We beat Amazon a lot of the time. But anyway, so you're just maintaining communication. It's a follow through. Every industry does it. Think about any time that you bought a house, bought a car, purchased a service from someone, lawn care, house cleaning, what have you, and then they follow up, right? They send you surveys or whatever the case, or they just ask you, hey, how did it go? So just doing this, or they tell you, hey, okay, well, we got you on for next Tuesday, and that's how they get you to just sign up continuously and be a repeated customer. And this e-commerce thing, the things that we talked about, that's going to get you that. Package shows up to the buyer within a few days. because you did your due diligence and you got it out on time. They open it, they look, oh wow, look, they got a smiley face or a sticker on the outside. That's nice of them. They open it, they see that it was packed with care. That's going to make a statement. It's going to make a lasting impact. It's going to increase your chances of getting a return customer. Okay? And so it's a tried, tested, and true, guaranteed method to increase your positive feedback. It's going to happen if you start putting care into what you do. People will notice, and people will reward you for that. More positive feedback is going to increase your profits. Guaranteed, regardless of the industry. That's why review systems exist. So that's what we got for today. Probably ranted a little bit long, but I'll be showing you some more of how to improve processes. As a former operations manager, a full-time marketer now, along with a bunch of other stuff, you pick up stuff along the way, and we want to see the platform elevate. We want to see everybody be happier about this. If you're in all of these eBay buyer seller groups and such, like on Facebook, for example, you'll notice that a lot of people have a bad opinion about sellers, and we want to shift the market away from that. You can care, you can not care, but I cannot stress this enough that it will increase how much money goes on your pocket so that you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in life.